Lamentations 1, G-BOM. G, God. The Lord repays sin with wrath and judgment. Verse 5, verses 12 and 13. The Lord sees. Verses 9, 11, 20. God is a comforter who can withdraw. Verse 16. The Lord is righteous. Verse 18. B, big thing. A lament over Zion. O, other things. A lament and confession for Zion, verses 1 through 11. Call for onlookers to have compassion on this state, verses 12 through 17. God's righteousness proclaimed, and he is prayed to, verses 18 through 22. M, memorize. Chapter 1, verse 18. The Lord is righteous, for I have rebelled against his mouth. Hear now, all peoples, and behold my sorrow. My virgins and my young men have gone into captivity. Here's the text of Lamentations 1 from the NASB with slight alterations. How lonely sits the city that was full of people. She has become like a widow who was great among the nations. She who was a princess among the provinces has become a forced laborer. She weeps bitterly in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. She has none to comfort her among all her lovers. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They have become her enemies. Judah has gone into exile under affliction and under great servitude. She dwells among the nations. She has found no rest. All her pursuers have overtaken her in the midst of distress. The roads of Zion are in mourning because no one comes to the appointed feasts. All her gates are desolate. Her priests are groaning. Her virgins are afflicted, and she herself is bitter. Her adversaries have become her head. Her enemies prosper, for the Lord has caused her grief because of the multitude of her transgressions. Her little ones have gone away, as captives before the adversary. All her majesty has departed from the daughter of Zion. Her princes have become like deer that have found no pasture, and they have gone without strength before the pursuer. In the days of her affliction and homelessness, Jerusalem remembers all her precious things that were from the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the adversary, and no one helped her. The adversaries saw her. They mocked at her cessation. Jerusalem sinned greatly. Therefore she has become an unclean thing. All who honored her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness. Even she herself groans and turns away. Her uncleanness was in her skirts. She did not remember her latter end. Therefore she has come down astonishingly. She has no comforter. See, O Lord, my affliction, for the enemy has magnified himself. The adversary has stretched out his hand over all her precious things, for she has seen the nations enter her sanctuary, the ones whom you commanded, that they should not enter into your congregation. All her people groan seeking bread. They have given their precious things for food to restore their soul themselves. See, O Lord, and look, for I am despised. Is it nothing to all you who pass this way? Look and see if there is any sorrow like my sorrow, which was severely dealt out to me, which the Lord inflicted on the day of his fierce anger. From on high he sent fire into my bones, and it prevailed. He has spread a net for my feet. He has turned me back. He has made me desolate, faint all day long. The yoke of my transgressions is bound. By his hand they are knit together. They have come upon my neck. He has made my strength stumble. The Lord has given me into the hands of those against whom I am not able to stand. The Lord has rejected all my strong men in my midst. He has called an appointed time against me to crush my young men. The Lord has trodden as in a winepress the virgin daughter of Judah. For these things I weep. My My eye runs down with water, because far from me is a comforter, one who restores my soul. My children are desolate, because the enemy has prevailed. Zion stretches out her hands. There is no one to comfort her. The Lord has commanded concerning Jacob that the ones round about him should be his adversaries. Jerusalem has become an unclean thing among them. The Lord is righteous, for I have rebelled against his mouth. Hear now, all peoples, and behold my sorrow. My virgins and my young men have gone into captivity. I called to my lovers. They deceived me. My priests and my elders perished in the city, while they sought food to restore their soul themselves. See, O Lord, for I am in distress. My inward parts are in ferment. My heart is overturned within me, for I have been very rebellious. In the street the sword bereaves. In the house it is like death. They have heard that I groan. There is no one to comfort me. All my enemies have heard of my evil. They are glad that you have done it. Oh, that you would bring the day which you have proclaimed, that they may become like me. Let all their wickedness come before you, and deal with them as you have dealt with me for all my transgressions. For my groans are many, and my heart is faint.